Okay, I'm going to take you foraging with me. I am on the search for Usnea. Usnea is a lichen, and it can be found on hickories, oaks, and some of your conifers. It can be found on those trees. And I will show you how to identify it when I find it. Now, most of the time it can be up high on the branches, so after a storm, if any limbs fall or anything like that, it's really easy to find some then. So I'm going to trek through the woods here and see what I can find. Okay, here is a limb that has fallen, and you see this right here. This is Usnea, and I'm going to pick that off of there. And right here's some. We found a good little bit on this fallen branch. Let me get back out here and I will show you how to tell that it is Usnea. Now this is Usnea, but it may be too dry considering that limb may have been down for a while. I will check and see if I can still use that. But Usnea has, see that, oh, it's going to be fine. See that core, that white elastic core right there? That's what you're looking for to find Usnea. You want to make sure that it has this white elastic type core on the inside of it. So we did good. We found some Usnea, and we're going to continue our search for some more. I have my helper Jade. She's going to help us search. But like I said, Usnea can be found on your hickories, your oaks, and it's easier to get to when you find fallen branches. And in the woods, you can always find fallen branches. Traditionally, Usnea was used in herbal practices to support respiratory health and infections. So I thought I saw some, but I didn't. Oh, we've got some good looking mushrooms over here. Looks like they may have done dried up though. Usnea is a great item that helps with bronchitis. And in Alabama, that's usually the thing that most people get is bronchitis. But Usnea can also help with pneumonia, sinus infection, strep throat, cold, flus, respiratory discomforts. I mean, the list is endless what Usnea can do. You can make a throat spray. You can, make a tincture that you take a little bit a day to keep your immune system intact and ready for all of the coming germs that we know are coming. So you want to be prepared for that. And you can do it without taking the harmful antibiotics that deplete your good bacteria. Because you have to have good bacteria along with bad bacteria. And a lot of antibiotics will just strip that right out of your gut. Usnea can be used for urinary tract discomforts, with your kidneys and your bladder. It can be used for that. So it's basically just your all-around good, you might as well say natural antibiotic. The antimicrobial properties in Usnea are said to help maintain the body's natural defense system. That might be all we're going to find, but we're going to keep looking. All that we can find that we can reach, let's put it that way. But I think we might be able to find some more. We've got a lot of woods to trek through here. And sometimes it can be a little time consuming. It can be, inconvenient to forage for your own herbs. But hey, it's free. And then while you're out foraging for one, you may look up and find some others. We had a windstorm a few months back, and I found some Usnea just laying around in the yard. So I snatched it right up. And I have recently learned that there are truffles in Alabama, so I need to train Jade to be a truffle dog, because they say it's easier to find them. with a dog. Have any of you ever hunt truffles? I've never even had a truffle. So here we go with the ramblings of the woman in the woods. The woman and her dog. I think I have a little bit more right here. Here's another fallen branch that we might get lucky enough to find some still on it. Here we go. And you can do your alcohol tincture, and then once you strain that, you can turn around and do a water process and boil it in water. We'll talk more about that later. That part doesn't look real good. Oh, here's some right here. But just remember, you want to find that elastic core that's in the middle of it. Here's a nice little bunch. Now see, like here's some just laying on the ground that's blown off of a tree. Looky here. And this is a good time to have some quiet time to yourself, enjoy nature, and harvest medicine. Because it's very common walking in the woods, and this time of year, you don't have to worry about snakes. I would say you wouldn't have to worry about ticks, but this is Alabama, and it probably hadn't got cold enough for them yet. So they're probably still lingering around. I don't like the way that one looks. We got a good little bit off of that one. We're doing good so far. But I'll harvest as much as I can get. Well, I think that's about all we're going to get today. I'm going to check at my mother's when I go down there and see if I can find some more there, because this is something I just kind of like to have on stock. And I like to have pre-made at all times. So we're going in, and then we will check it all, make sure it's a good, healthy specimen, and see what we have left. All right, we're back in the house, and I am picking through and getting the leaves and things out of it, and then I will check and make sure that it is a good specimen, because it's that white core, that white elastic type core that's on the inside of it that you want. That's the part we need. So some of these may have been out too long, so I might not be able to use a lot of these, but all of this seems to be pretty good so far, so that's a plus. But like I said, I am going to harvest some more when I go to my mother's and go down into the bottom. That is a beautiful, beautiful place. Probably my favorite place in the whole wide world is the bottom at home. I'm one of the few children that actually, you know, my brother and sister and I had the same childhood home, so, and still have it to this day. So, and this will be something I think Mother would like to do. She'd like to go traipsing through the woods and hunt Usnea. But, yep, all of these have that little tendon there, that little white elastic piece. So I'm very fortunate, very blessed. I found lots and lots of good specimens. So I'm going to get these washed up, and when I get ready to do my alcohol tincture, I will come back and bring you along with me. Okay, here is my Usnea. I've washed it one time, and I've went through and I've checked, and I picked out the ones that I found that I just wasn't comfortable with using. And sometimes these will be brittle and they will break, but as long as that core is white, it's a good specimen. It's when you know, if it snaps and the core is brown, then, you know, all of the nutrients are depleted from it. But you're wanting that white elasticy core on the inside.